welcome to another episode of the Vicar's Devotional. I'm your Vicar, Mother Sandy, and each week I go through one of the readings on the daily office lectionary, and usually it's the Gospel, sometimes it's the epistle, and sometimes it's even the Hebrew Bible. Um, Today we're going to be looking at the epistle for today, and it's Galatians 4, 12 through 20. And during this time, I just like to reflect, and it's my own devotional time that we get to spend together virtually. So join me each week as we go through the daily office lectionary. So, as I said, today's lectionary reading is taken from the Paul's letter to the Galatians, and it's chapter 4, 12 through 20. This is the verse. Well, verse is, "Friends, I beg you, become as I am, for I also have become as you are. You have done me no wrong. You know that it was because of a physical infirmity that I first announced the gospel to you. Though my condition put you to the test, you did not scorn or despise me, but welcomed me as an angel of God, as Christ Jesus. What has become of the goodwill you felt? For I testify that had it been possible, you would have torn out your eyes and given them to me. Have I now become your enemy by telling you the truth? They make much of you, but for no good purpose. They want to exclude you, so that you may make much of them. It is good to be made much out of for a good purpose at all times, and not only when I'm present with you. My little children, for whom I am again in the pain of childbirth until Christ is formed in you, I wish I were present with you now and could change my tone, for I am perplexed about you." The word of the Lord. So, I love the book of Galatians. I think Galatians 2:20 is one of my favorite verses. I'm not going to say it to you, so look it up. But this particular reading it's one of those where I forget that there's a phrase, the more things change, the more they stay the same. We think all of the problems that we have are new. And not everybody, I'm generalizing, but there are a lot of folks who are like, "Oh, this time is unlike any other time. The issues we're dealing with are like any other issues." They are like every other issue. What we're dealing with now is just the same issue, different topic. Um, and when I say topic, it's like the icing on the top. What we see might look different, but below the surface, it's all the same, right? I think there's a picture of a an iceberg, and at the top, all you see is the tip. Those tips for every iceberg may look very different, but what's below the surface just spans out. That's all the same. And with healing prayer, and it's our service on Wednesdays at 11, we focus much on that, and I kind of tie in the gospel or one of the New Testament reading um, to inner healing prayer and why it's important for our lives. And this particular pericope of Galatians is exactly one of the reasons, because Paul is writing and saying, you know what, when I came to you, you could have only seen my outward being, the tip of the iceberg. You would have seen that I had a physical infirmity. What does that do? How does that instill faith in you if you see that here's this person that is preaching the good news of Jesus Christ, and he's not healed? What does that do? It's important to think of those things. Um, we sometimes get lost in the surface level and what we can tangibly see or touch. And there's so much more going on underneath, whether it's the need for healing, and all we see is the very top explosions of reactions without seeing the underlying reason, or we get stuck on a physical infirmity instead of looking beneath the surface and seeing that this person, as Paul writes, is an angel of God, as Christ Jesus. We welcome because Christ lives within our hearts. When we welcome another, we welcome Jesus. And so I think of this reading in especially the light of everything going on in the world, going on in the church. And perhaps the brokenness that we see is just the tip. The brokenness that we don't see is what's causing the outbursts or causing the coming at people sideways or you name it. Maybe we look a little deeper. In our reading today, Paul says in verse 19, "My little children, for whom I am again in the pain of childbirth until Christ is formed in you," is a moment of frustration of we've had these conversations. How are you getting stuck? I've seen what you've been. That first love when you encounter Jesus Christ is excitement, and I want everyone to know because I've experienced this thing that words cannot describe. And yet the world got to them. And Paul is saying, what's become of you? Verse 15, what has become of the goodwill you felt? Are the reflection that I'm letting marinate throughout this week until I write it. I've got a picture that I asked ChatGPT to make for me. I'm not gonna lie, yay for ChatGPT and the ability to describe what I'm seeing, and it will make a picture. And when we're in the world, because we're in the world but not of the world can sometimes see like this wonderful place where we're supposed to have the peace of Jesus all the time, right? Peace of Christ all the time. We're done. And yet, we live in this broken world. So one side is sunny, there are flowers, it's really pretty, and the other side is kind of cloudy and gloomy, and people are looking down, they're a little downtrodden. And Paul is saying, no, 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 no. Keep what you had when you first encountered Jesus. Hold on to that faith, that love. It'll come again because it always does. But only if we take the steps forward. So on this Tuesday, um, what's the next step for you to take? Is it in your personal life with amping up what you do spiritually on your own? Is it a challenge to volunteer around the church? I will happily receive that. But what is it? What is God calling you to? What is God birthing within you that maybe you had, but the craziness of the world has tried to suck it out or remove it, push it down? There's a lot going on. So on this day, I pray blessings over you and that first excitement of your faith explodes within you once again. I hope you're blessed. Have a wonderful day. Join me each week here on the Resurrection YouTube channel for the Vicar's Devotional. Have a wonderful day. If you haven't, subscribe, like, and comment, and be a part of the conversation. I love you all. I'll see you soon.